Hello snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we'll be reviewing the Bataleon Blow. This board features Bataleon's low camber with jib 3BT. So what you get is a very mellow traditional camber and then their jib 3BT out in the tip and the tail. This board is available in 6 sizes, 145, 148, 151, 153, 154 wide, and 155. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was a mix of sun and clouds, warmer temps, there was some winds, the snow was a little bit slushy and playful, and I rode it with my K2 Thraxis boots and my Rome Black Label bindings. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was sunny bluebird with some clouds coming through. There was a little bit of wind, it was warmer temps, the snow was a little bit slushy, and I rode it with my K2 Thraxis boots and my Rome Black Label bindings. So it's a park board, and I was definitely over the weight limit, but it really wasn't crazy soft. You know, it comes in kind of about middle of the road for what it is, which is more of a jib stick. So you do have more play out in the tip and the tail. Then obviously it starts to stiffen up through the inserts. Then it gets a little softer right in the middle with a little bit of torsional flex to it. Overall, it's stable for what it is. I mean, if you go Mach 10 into a mogul field, you're going to get bucked around and eat shit and die, and then you're going to be dead, and then no one's going to find you, and it's going to be a sad thing. But when you're on edge, you don't really notice any chatter resonating back underfoot. It's not one of those boards that it'll wash out if you land deep in a transition on a landing. It doesn't do that. I mean, this board, I mean, it's very fucking meat and potatoes, but it's actually fairly stable, and it does seem to have a slightly thicker core to it overall. So if you're looking for something that's stable and you're on a budget and you want something with 3BT, I mean, I guess this is it. There's some snap in this board. It's really nothing to write home about. You do have to load up that mellow camber profile, which really doesn't take much effort to load it up, but the more drive you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. But realistically, you're doing all the fucking work on this thing. It's just not a board that's going to be crazy snappy like other decks in the Bataleon lineup. Does its job, it's nothing special. Now, with that being said, how does it do on jumps? The lip does all the work. That's the big thing that you notice with this board, is it's not one of those boards that really snaps off the lip and just pops you higher into the air. The lip does all the work. So the faster you go, the more the lip's gonna throw you. That's kind of the big thing with this. Would I hit bigger jumps with it? Probably not. I think small to medium is about where you want to keep it. Like that 25-30 foot range is about the max of this board. So with this board having the jib 3BT, you have a slight scoop to the nose and the tail for buttering. The big thing is the sweet spot is way out, like where the contact point would be if it wasn't elevated. So you want to make sure you get your weight way out over it and really press into it. Little speed is going to be your friend. I mean, there's going to be some fight with this board, but overall, it's not like a board that you can get on and just be like, ooh, look at it, it's so fucking buttery. It's more like, oh shit, I'm working for this, and that's how it is. And that kind of translates over to how it jibs. You want to make sure that when you're doing a nose or tail press, that you're in the flat section of the jib 3BT. You really want to make sure that you're centered on that. And even then, it's not going to be the most pressable board out there. You're really going to put your weight into it to get it to drive and lock in. Now, when you get sideways, the board balances on the feature. It doesn't really hug it. It just sort of teeters and totters. I mean, there's a little bit of give to it. It's nothing really special. This is like my first jib board more than anything, and it's realistically designed to just be one of those boards that takes a lot of abuse, and then you just sort of progress on to something else in their line. With it having 3BT, this board does roll up on edge a little bit easier. Is it the most aggressive carving board out there? No. I've ridden the most aggressive carving boards out there, so I think. Doesn't matter. What you will notice is that you can get this board on edge. It'll stay locked in, and the more you drive off the tail, the harder you can drive through the carve, which is pretty standard for just about any board out there. I would say that short, tight, quick setup turns and mellow carves are kind of its strong suit. Those hard, drawn out, deep, aggressive carves, it's not going to be the best for. It can do them, but it's not going to be the best. Overall, I mean, this board, it'll hold an edge when you need it to in soft snow. I'd say on ice you might be a little more fucked, but that's about it. Who's this board for? The budget-conscious park rider. I mean, like, this is literally like my first park board with 3BT. That's kind of what it is. At the end of the day, it's a snowboard. It does snowboard things. Doesn't do them well, it doesn't do them bad. I've ridden worse snowboards and I've ridden better snowboards. For being price conscious, yeah, okay. It's decent. I mean, if you want 3BT, but overall, I think there's better boards out there. Comparable boards. The Rome Warden. The Interior Plane Project Haro. The Ride Kink. This has been my review of the Bataleon Below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you'd really like to support us and you just want to see us grow out what we're doing, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.